What's up, everyone? You are tuned in to the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 784. I'm going to start things off a little differently than normal because some bands sent me some merchandise and I'm going to show it off real quick. So on me right now, I have a Grimrock Grimrock shirt. He also sent me this cool sticker, and I'm going to change views. Give me one moment. This autographed, photographed version of what I believe is going to be the next album. A copy of Grimrock 5. I also got in the mail recently. I'm going to have to switch to show that too. I got this cool koozie from Gonto, which I'm holding upside down, of course. And inside the koozie is a decal, and he also sent a shirt. That I can't see. There we go. Gonto Core. That's the name of his current single. If you want to purchase any of that merchandise, go to grimrockandroll.com or officialgonto.com. And with that said, we're going to head into the first segment of tonight's show with Cody Lemmon of Blackridge. What's up, Corey?
Cody.
What, Cody?
Sorry.
Why do you say that? I'm sorry.
Corey
Corey plays the keyboards.
Yeah.
I typed your name like 100 times today, too. I apologize.
It's okay. I've been called Corey many times in my life, so it's totally cool. I don't even correct people most of the time anymore, but I figured I would this time.
I called you Cody before we went on the air.
I know.
Anyway, so we've had members of Blackridge on, we've had the whole band on, we've had individuals on, but we've never really talked about the history of the band. And you have been there pretty much from the beginning. I think you were number 2. Is that right?
Yeah, so I've seen you at Rock for Life, and I told you how every time I've been on your show, I just kind of just in the background, just like, I barely even like chip in. So I figured I could give you a bit of history of the band and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, I am the second original member, besides Paul Chaycott, which I wasn't even original to begin with. But yeah, second longest member besides Paul Che.
So when did the band form?
2013, beginning of 2013. I know those guys, they were playing throughout the year quite a bit. And then I joined in 2014.
So that means from 2014 on, everybody but Paul is gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, Jake Parks is in the chat room saying Blackridge rocks. I forgot to mention we listened to at the top of the show, we listened to Parks and Company, Eye of the Storm. That's the track we opened with. So it's kind of cool that he's hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah. What's up?
So how did you end up joining the band? Like who drug you in? If I say drug you in, I'm sure it was willingly.
So I had been a musician throughout my whole teenage life. And a lot of family members would tell me about Paul Che because our dads worked together in the drilling industry. So a lot of them would, tell me that I should go jam with him and check it out. And we had to practice like maybe 1 or 2 times, and it didn't work out. But at the end of 2013, Paul Che contacted me, letting me know that they were in very desperate need of a bass player. He wanted me to come try out. So that was my first time trying out at the end of 2013.
Now, had you been in other bands before that?
I just jammed with friends for fun. We'd play a few shows here and there, like open mics and stuff like that, but nothing too serious.
I know that I saw the band perform without Tall Paul at a Rock for Life show, but I don't remember who the singer was.
Yeah, so it was kind of all of us. Um, at the time, we had Alec was our lead singer slash saxophone player. Paul Che would also sing, play guitar, and I also took turns on singing as well. So if you might have seen all three of us singing at different times in the show.
And that was I wow. How long has Paul been in the band as the singer?
Paul Guarini,
Yeah.
2017 he joined.
Okay. So yeah, I was say that's been a while.
Yeah, and you know the story of him joining, right?
um,
He,
I don't. I'm sure I was told it, but I'm old and don't
yeah,
remember.
yeah, he had seen us play at an event. It was like a superheroes event or whatever. The
Oh,
Rock for Life.
superheroes believe in miracles, or
Yeah, he had seen
yeah.
us play there, and he was kind of blown away. He really, dug the band. Well, then like a week later, we had like another show. I think Rock for Life was after that. We had seen him there, and we asked him like, "Hey, our saxophone player is quitting, so we're losing our lead singer as well. So we asked him if he wanted to come try out."
Cool. I think that's the Rock for Life show I saw because I
Yeah.
remember hearing the buzz.
Well, our very first was Rocktoberfest, and that was the end of 2016.
Um, what over the years that you've been in a band, what has been the most memorable thing for you that's happened?
Um, just every interaction after shows, especially with like other musicians and stuff. I got to meet a lot of like really cool like musicians, even like touring acts and stuff. Like those guys are just they're really nice, down to earth guys. Like recently, we did a show with Deep Blue Something at the Craft House. They're this band that does that song "Breakfast at Tiffany's."
Okay, I knew I heard of them.
Yeah, and I said, "What about Breakfast at Tiffany's?" Yeah, and those guys they loved us. They thought we were great. They even said like if we ever come to Texas, we should do like shows together.
You should make a trip to Texas.
Yeah.
I,
But
I'm
besides that, we met. I met all kinds of like guys. I met Rudy Sarzo of Quiet Riot
by
when we
Riot.
opened
Yep.
for them, and he was great too. He signed a thing, and he took a picture with me and stuff.
All right, so we have about 2 minutes. See, I told you you'd know.
All
Um,
right.
so my question is, I know that when you're getting your introductions done at the end of your set, that Paul always calls you bass squatch. Who came up with that, and how much do you like or dislike it?
I like it. I can't really remember the exact origin of it, but it's definitely after I started growing this out because I haven't always had this since I've been in the band.
It's definitely. I wish I had a third of that.
Yeah, I've been growing it for 8 years now, I think, and barely I've had it trimmed. Same with the beard. Like I used to trim it all the time, but I just like lately just been letting it go.
Do you know who Grizzly Adams was?
Oh yeah,
Okay, that's you kind of have that going on. Do you have any pet bears?
I know. Yeah, I get told I look like a lot of people actually. I think I have a lot of doppelgangers because it happens quite a lot. People will be like, "Oh my God, you look like my cousin's brother," or "Hey, you look like Zach Wild," or "You look like
That's what
Chris
I was.
Stapleton."
Zach Wild was the one that I was like,
Yeah, and he's one of my favorites. He's one of my guitar heroes. So maybe that is what I'm going for. I mean, even my performance on stage, like I, you know, emulate a lot of what he does on stage as well.
Well, we have about 30 seconds. So I'm going to tell them which two Black Ridge songs we're going to play that you selected. And then when we come back, we'll talk about why you selected them. And if you want, you can tell us a little bit about each song. So what we're going to hear next is Sweat and Let It Roll. And I play Sweat a lot. It's been a while since I played Let It Roll. So we're going to go check that out. And on the video side, you're going to get to find out who is winning tickets from Drusky Entertainment. And we will be right back.
Hey, world. This is Paul from Black Ridge.
This is Cody from Black Ridge.
And you're watching the PA Rock Show on Music from the 412.
Drusky Entertainment give away 2 tickets to Lita Ford on Wednesday, September 24th. Courtesy of the connection that Music from 412 and Drusky Entertainment have. That show, once again, is Lita Ford, September 24th. It's a Wednesday. Doors are at 6 p.m. The show is at 8 p.m. You can purchase early entry doors at 5 p.m. It is at Jurgles in Warrendale. As always, that is a 21 and over show. Tickets are $42 if you purchase in advance, $45 if you purchase the day of the show. And if you're going to order the early entry 5 p.m. doors, that's $59. Now, we had 10 people sign up for this one. They are Larry Gardner, Nikki Praza, Amanda Spiker, Peggy Spiker, Christine Demko, Justin Todd, Andrew Carr, Keith Laydig, Melissa Zunick, and Tom Trainer. I have entered each of those names twice on my wheel because it's kind of crowded on there. I'm going to go ahead and hit shuffle 3 times, and then I'm going to spin, and we will find out who is going to win those 2 tickets to see Lita Ford on September 24th. And that winner is Larry Gardner. Larry, keep an eye on your email. You'll be receiving an email from me notifying you and Drusky Entertainment that you are the one that won the contest. And then you will receive information directly from Drusky Entertainment on how to get those tickets. If you're not familiar with how this works, head to musicfromthe412.com/contest, and you will see the shows that Drusky Entertainment is allowing us to spin the wheel for. And all you have to do is share the event and tag Drusky Entertainment and Music from the 412, and that gets you an entry into the contest for that particular set of tickets. With that said, I'm headed back to my interview with Cody Lemmon from Black Ridge. Hey, Spill. We are headed back into segment number 2 of the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode 784. With me is Cody Lemmon of Black Ridge.
What's up?
We just heard 2 songs from his band. We heard Sweat and Let It Roll. And he chose both of those. Later on, we're going to hear 2 more songs that he chose for tonight's show. But why Sweat and Let It Roll?
Well, I'll start with Let It Roll. When I joined the band in 2014, it was one of the first songs that we started playing together. Like, it was one of the very first original songs that Black Ridge wrote that I had heard and played with the guys. And we played it for years back then. And eventually we stopped playing it. And later on, like 2021, 2022, we were interested in playing the song again, and we revamped it. We brought it back. We changed the key of it. We added some different parts to it. At that point, we had Joey on guitar, so he added so much flavor to it. I mean, it became like completely different from the original version. So that's why I picked Let It Roll. And Sweat's just one of my favorite songs to play live because it's so bass driven. Like, the bass starts the song, the bass is in the breakdown part is a big part of it, and just throughout, like, I just love playing that song live. And when we recorded it, it was great.
So here's a probably not a fair question, but my son recently started playing bass, and he's already talking about being in 3 different bands.
Yeah.
He plays like 9 bass lines right now that he's figured out since March. What
Yeah.
kind of advice would you give him?
Just keep on practicing. Maybe even try to pick up on other instruments too. I mean, even if you could like try to learn guitar, because I
I
believe like guitar, you can get like more like information of like how to play and stuff,
so
like
I laughed when
chord
you said
structure.
that because he plays the trumpet, the euphonium, French horn, the piano, um,
Okay, so he's already
the
multi
fife,
instrument.
the harmonica. Um, he just started renting a violin. He plays the trombone. So instruments, he doesn't need any more of those. Don't say that to him.
Yeah,
We're
I
running out of
actually
room.
I started out on guitar whenever I was a teenager. That was my first instrument of choice.
So he has a little 3/4 Fender, but it doesn't have strings on it right now because he's going to restring it backwards for his friend who plays left-handed.
Oh no!
But
Good luck with that. I was already say
yeah.
about that.
So he's kind of all over the place too. Like he's playing La Bamba, he's playing Coldplay, he's playing Smoke on the Water, he's playing Iron Man. I can't remember what else I've heard him play, but mostly since he like you has a new bass. He has one that Rocky gave him back in March, and now he has Yamaha that he bought last week, TRB 305, I think it is. But
Yeah.
you recently got a new bass, and I know you were really excited. Still
Yeah, it
liking
was a
liking it.
white Fender Jazz bass from Guitar Center. Yeah, I just got it paid off, so I'm
Oh,
happy
nice.
about that as well.
Um, so we were at Guitar Center, but he ended up buying from In Stuff Music. But at Guitar Center, he played a Mike Dirnt stage played bass from Green Day.
I played the same bass.
Did you?
I seen it. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was in there, I'd seen it.
Probably for the same reason, except I drove the reason there. I was like, you have to play this. I said, you're not buying it,
Yeah.
but play it.
Oh yeah, it was a great bass for sure.
But it was out of his price range and not really what he was looking for either. But
Yeah.
okay. So if you got to show and you forgot a piece of equipment and you're like, I'm sorry guys, I have to go home and get it. What is that one piece that you would not play without?
Yeah, anything. Everything is really important to play the show. I've gone to shows without like amplifiers before, but usually that's whenever they have like a backline.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed.
I'd
Do
say
you use
probably
pedals?
a tuner. Honestly, like I've gone to shows without a tuner, and I just get real scared because I'm like, oh no, what if my guitar goes out of tune, and then I'm gonna have to go over to Paul and like tell him that I need to tune off of his pedal board. So that does make me a bit nervous if I forget my tuner actually.
Um, let's see. What are we doing time wise? Yep. Let's go with one more question in this segment. I checked beforehand. You have some shows that you wanted to tell everyone about, correct?
Yeah. Upcoming shows?
Yes.
Yeah. I have them written down now. Let's use the paper. All right, so this Thursday, July 24th, we'll be at Jurgles opening up for the Babies. The very next day, July 25th, we will be on DVE in the morning, the Coffee House, to play our new single song that isn't even out yet, called Hardwired.
I've actually heard
That's
that.
yeah, we've played at Rock for Life.
Yes.
That same day, we will be playing out at Marion Center Park, which is out by Indiana. And then July 26th, we'll be at Levity, in Indiana.
Okay. So Jeremy
So
Wildy's
yeah,
in the
we're real busy this weekend coming up. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Jeremy Wildy says he thought you guys were great on Music Talks and he loved Blue Collar Blues. It's a great song. And then you may have outed yourself about being worried about tuning because Paul was in the chat room.
Okay, yeah.
Although all he said
figured
was
he would
woo.
be. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take our second break and we'll be right back with Cody.
All right.
Oh, yeah, Jazz. I'm on now. So we were talking about music from the 412. I'm going to go ahead and bring Cody back in. He brought up Jazz's Rock and Road show, which is an awesome show on music from the 412. He's actually on his way to the Yukon right now with a few friends.
Okay. Yeah, we were on one of his segments, and that's the one I watched. And he was riding a bike on an abandoned highway out by like Eastern PA.
Oh yeah, I can't think of the name of that place.
Yeah, it looked really cool. It's like I want to go there someday.
Yeah. So there's one that he's recording now is actually because I told him about something my dad did. So there's a place called the Sourdough Saloon, and they have the sourdough cocktail, and it is literally a shot of alcohol with a dehydrated, mummified big toe in it from a human.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I don't know about that.
Yeah. My dad did that, and when he called and told me, he's like, and they give you a certificate. I was like, did they put senior on your certificate? He goes, no, why? I said, turn around and go back because I don't want anyone to think that I did that. So let's see. Jeremy again says that you guys are a better live act as well, and that people should definitely support you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about you a little bit. We talked about the band. We got some show information in. Can you pinpoint when you decided you were going to be a musician? Like you talked about having a guitar and playing some bass before you joined a band, but when did the bug hit you?
So when I was about 10, 11 years old, my brothers got a guitar for the first time, and that was like my first time ever seeing a guitar in person, and I was just like so amazed by it. Like I knew I couldn't play it. I mean, they didn't even really let me play it. I mean, unless I really like begged them to, then they would like hand it to. I would sit down, they'd hand it to me like this, you know. And I learned a few things here and there, but it didn't really stick then. But fast forward in time, right around 2005, the video game Guitar Hero come out.
I was terrible with that game.
Yeah, and I became obsessed with that game. Like we just played it together all the time, and I realized that Guitar Hero didn't have the songs that I wanted to play. At the time, I was like really into Nirvana and like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, bands like that, and not all that stuff was on that game. So my brothers had the guitars, and I started playing them again. And somebody gave me a chord book to learn off of, and I started learning chords started forming like songs together. Like I started learning stuff like Seven Nation Army and Iron Man, just like your son, like you
Yeah,
said.
Seven
Like
Nation Army is one that he plays.
yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you learn all this simple stuff at a young age, and it's like when you're teaching a young musician, like they don't want to play like Mary Had a Little Lamb. They don't want to play like classical like stuff. They want to play rock and roll. You know, they want to
Hmm.
play the songs that they are into, and that's exactly how I felt at that time.
It's my
After, like I said, Guitar Hero really inspired me to play guitar, which it did for thousands of kids. You know that I mean, I think there was even a spike in guitar sales that year because of that game.
so my son asked me, he's like, "What's a bass line I should learn?" And I kind of grinned and giggled, and I said, "How about Tool Enema?"
Yeah,
And he watched a video and
Eric
grabbed his.
Kingdom.
He went,
Yeah, anything by Tool. Yeah,
"Yeah, that's definitely a little above his pay grade right now, though."
yeah. Bass is an amazing instrument. Like and like I said before, it wasn't even my instrument of choice to begin with. I started out on guitar, and I love guitar. You know, that's my beginning instrument that I learned everything on.
Do you still play guitar, or you just stick with bass now?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I still like constantly. I mean, I even do like acoustic shows and stuff sometimes too. But bass is really my like main instrument. Like I love playing bass live. It's so much fun when you have a drummer as well, like to hold that rhythm together. It's like you're like a unit together, and everybody else kind of just soars over top.
Um, Robert Johnston is known. It's probably not true, but the legend is that Robert Johnson went to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil to become the
Yep.
best guitar player. If you were standing at that same crossroads, what would you be there for?
Um, Honestly, just to be able to just play music for the rest of my life and make it my living.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be. I get that answer a lot. Um,
Yeah.
and living with three musicians, all three of my kids play music and sing. In fact, one of my daughters has sang on stage with you twice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at two different Rock for Life shows. The second one was
Yeah.
funny though, because Paul was doing the thing where he's inviting people up and she was already up there, and he turned around and went, "Oh, hey." he thought he thought
Yeah.
that Paul Che was singing and it was my daughter. Anyway, so we're about 3 minutes to go. Um
Okay.
I know that you guys are you recording Hardwired, or is it done?
It's done. We finished it in May.
And was that at
We
very tight?
started in May 1st. Yeah, very tight. Yep. We started at May 1st and got it done in just like a couple days.
Is there anything else in the queue to be recorded, or are you going to just release the single? Because the reason I ask is because Paul sends me stuff all the time, and
Yeah.
that's like when I said, "Oh yeah, I heard Hardwired." I heard Hardwired really early on, and then I heard it live.
Yeah, we had just got the artwork for it just recently. I'm not sure the exact date that we're releasing it, but I know it is like really soon.
Let's see if Paul chimes in the chat room.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey Paul, when are we releasing Hardwired?
um, if you were able to sit down with one of your musical idols and ask them any question, who would you want to sit down with, and what would you ask?
Probably Zach Wild because again, he's just like one of my favorites of all time. And What was the question?
And what question would you ask him?
What would I ask him?
Yep.
I'd ask him like, what was it like just playing with Ozzy? Like it must have been crazy times.
I am. If the stories you hear about Ozzy are true, then definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like Ozzy was one of my like major musical influences.
Did you see any of the Back to the Beginning show?
Yeah, I seen clips of it. It was all really good. Like I thought it was great. The way
I'm
they pulled that show off is amazing too. They had like a rotating stage.
yeah.
Yeah, they'd set up a band in the back and then rotate them out just all day long.
Um, so I'm going to say something probably controversial here. I think that Axel, while sounding like Axel, was swallowing words, and it might be time for him to hang it up. But at the
Yeah,
same time, I think Ozzy, while not as powerful as he used to be, still sounded great.
yeah, right, absolutely. Yeah, all
So
around it was a good show.
yeah, from what I saw, I was
Just the
perusing YouTube.
tribute aspect of it, and like everybody like doing like a cover of Black Sabbath. Like I thought some of those covers were really great.
I My favorite part was right at the beginning when they announced the first supergroup and Jake E. Lee wasn't on stage.
Yeah,
Hey, so my buzzer went off in my ear. That means we're out of time. I do want to tell everyone, go head to blackridgeofficial.com. Normally, would have showed off some merch because I do have some Blackridge merch. Most of it is in my daughter's room. Uh, every time I show up where they are, Paul Che gives me a stack of stuff to give to my daughters. But I also have about half a bottle of hot sauce, and I'm told that
yeah,
needs reordered. So you should
yeah.
tell the
We're
band
in
you
the
want some.
process of getting new merch very soon with the new logo as well. We got the new hardwired logo. It's a really cool like green picture. You'll just have to check it out when it's released.
I have seen that as well. I told him that it reminded me when I was in elementary school and I used Apple IIe computers, which were black screens and everything
Yeah.
was green.
Yeah,
All right. So, Cody, I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight.
yeah, absolutely.
And everybody in the chat room, Paul, Joanna, Jeremy. I think I got everybody. Yeah, that other one's spam. Thank you for hanging out as well. And if this is the first time you are tuned in to the live interview at 10 p.m., if you go to buildascene.com/radio, musicfromthe412.com/radio, metalshop101radio.online, or xrpradio.co.uk/chat. And I know that's a lot to remember. So buildascene.com/radio, it'll get you there. You'll be able to hear all the music that we played and talked about. I actually forgot to mention the songs that were played in between the last segment and this one. They were Stereo Scandal, Book of Magic, and Big House Pete 10 Years, which Big House Pete was one of Cody's choices. And then we're going to end things with Storms Within, Revenge Tastes Sweet, and Skell, Haven't Decided Yet. And Skell was another choice from Cody. And if you can do it in like 20 seconds, I'll be quiet and you can tell us why you picked those two.
Both those bands were just like my early influences. Like I had been going to Rock for Life since I was a little kid. So they're like some of the first like live music experiences that I got to see. And I tell those guys all the time, like you guys inspired me to play music.
Skell, I wasn't really into metal until I saw Skell for the first time. And that's when
Yeah.
it opened things up for me after that. And I actually just told them that this past June. So I get where you're coming from. Hey, with that said, go ahead.
I got to jam with Skella one time too with Paul Guerini. He was practicing a song with them, and their bass player didn't show up to practice, so they're like, "You want to play?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So that was a great experience too.
Very cool. Hey, so we're gonna head off into the evening. We have those last two songs from Storms Within and Skell, And make sure you tune in each and every Monday on a whole bunch of stations. Buildascene.com, musicfrom412.com, Metal Shop 101 radio.online, and xrp.co.uk/chat.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks once again, Cody.
Thank you.